What's up again, viewers? Brian here at 3TR, and welcome to another episode of People's Questions, episode 34. Before we get into today's episode, I'd like to congratulate the winner of last Friday's contest question. Let me see if I can do this right. DL Duel, who got the three answers right of what were the three tagline posters, and they did go to Black Hawk Down, Terminator 2, and the new Star Trek. So congratulations to you, and hopefully you're spending your 20 PlayStation Network money well. Now, I actually got a good number of questions this time around, and I do have a pretty interesting contest question for this Friday, but we'll get to that at the end. Anyway, first question comes from a newbie by the name of Noah Brown. I hope I said that right. And you wanted to know, what do I think of the Mass Effect and Dragon Age series, or just RPGs in general? I think I answered this question while I was back on my vacation like a week or two ago. In terms of Dragon Age, I've never played Dragon Age. I've never been interested in it, so I can't really have an opinion about Dragon Age. But I have played Mass Effect 2 and 3. And in terms of, those kind of play more out like action RPGs, and I definitely think that's the way to go for today. If you see my review of Mass Effect 3, then you know I did think the ending was a bit stupid, but you know, now they kind of added a DLC to kind of expand on it. I guess it's okay. So I guess in a whole, the Mass Effect series is not quite the Empire Strikes Back or the Star Wars of the video game world, but I think it's a good series. I'm definitely open to playing the next installment, you know, as long as they, you know, don't make the same mistakes they did in the original games. But yeah, as long as they manage to add more content, add new species, and just expand on this vast universe, I'd be so open for another Mass Effect. And in terms of RPGs in general, I'm more fond of the old school turn-based, like Final Fantasy games. Like any Final Fantasies from like 1 to say 10 to, and maybe some of the little side games I'd be open for. But as for this new generation of Final Fantasy, I just can't get into it because it's just not for me anymore. Final Fantasy has moved on without me, and I just would like to stick with what I grew up with and what I enjoyed playing when I was younger, and I'm free to let the future of Final Fantasy, I'm ready to let that go. The next question comes from 4 Tricks Mega Man, and he wanted to know, what do I look for? What do I look for, or what would I like to put in a Resident Evil game? I actually spoke to a friend about this after I played the Resident Evil 6 demo, and I was thinking that the biggest idea I can think for a Resident Evil game is when they do the final, like absolute final Resident Evil game in this particular storyline, because I do expect a reboot maybe in like 5 or 10 years. When they do in this storyline, I would prefer to get all the main characters together and actually do what they're doing with stupid bus. Sorry. Okay, anyway, I think that they should, I definitely like this idea of actually having like a co-op and multiple campaign storylines that all connect, and I think that they should do this with the main characters. So I would like to see like Chris and Jill team up one more time, Leon and Claire team up one more time, maybe throw in Barry, Rebecca, maybe we'll see another Sherry and Jake thrown in the mix somewhere. But I'd like to see all the main characters in one game with separate campaigns that all connect, so they can handle and finish the threat of Umbrella off once and for all. We were talking about who we thought we should die at the end, and I'll just save that for another topic. But yeah, I personally would just like to see a Resident Evil game with all the characters in there, with all the original creatures and some new creatures. Just an all-out battle, one last time. That's what I'd like to see in a Resident Evil game if I could make it. The next question comes from Mike Stylez, and he has 2 questions. And his first one is, what genre of music do I like most? I'll be honest, ever since my favorite artist died back in 2009, any music that's come out recently I really can't listen to. I don't know, I guess music just died for me at that point, but I definitely can listen to anything from like the 70s, 80s, 90s, maybe early 2000s, that kind of music, the stuff I kind of grew up with, and the stuff my parents raised me on is the music I'm most comfortable with. And when I have kids of my own one day, I'll definitely make sure they listen to that kind of music too, because that's when music had meaning. It's not like today's music, how it just is played because it's popular now. These songs aren't meant to last forever. They don't have a message, or the message is just cliche. It's like dealing with youngsters and parties and all this stuff that personally I am not interested in my own life whatsoever. So I just can't relate to that kind of music. I just prefer music with real meaning, real messages, and positive messages, not the negativity that we have today. So anything that hasn't come out recently is probably the type of music I listen to most. But in terms of genre, maybe pop, hip hop, old school rap, stuff like that. And your second question was, which was a good one, should video games be done in CG or animated only instead of live action? Well, I just recently saw Resident Evil Damnation. I actually got an early viewing of it, and after seeing just how perfectly well done that movie was, I absolutely believe they should stop the live action movies. This is how animated or CG should be, how it's done, because it's something that it definitely will relate to the fans of the franchise, because this is what we've seen, this is what we're used to, and to see it upgraded into movie quality CG is just a dream come true, because we instantly can connect with that character, especially with the voice actors. I mean, you would see like an act, because when an actor in a live action movie does it, he as far as I can tell in movies, they can't quite get the feeling of the character, and so we cannot relate to that character. So when we see someone play one of our favorite characters, we won't buy that's really them, because the actor doesn't quite understand that character. With voice actors, we can recognize them by their voice. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I ever met someone like David Hayter in person, I would instantly recognize him in person, and the fact that he's the voice of Solid Snake. So I actually would have more a connection with the voice of that character who understands that character than an actor trying to portray that character and not know what the hell he's doing. So I absolutely believe that the rest of the video game movies from this point on should be done in CG or animated, because that's just the way to go, especially after what I just saw. And the last question is just recently, and it comes from Zaniac, and he wanted to know, what are my thoughts on the new PlayStation 3 model or the PlayStation Super Slim? I actually really like it, and I absolutely am planning on buying it, which will then put my PlayStation 3 count to 3, which is perfect for me because 3 is my favorite number, and this is 3TR, so I'm going to need 3 PlayStations so I can, I don't know, store all my games. So so bottom line, I absolutely love the design. I'm definitely going to buy it. Probably maybe a month after it comes out, maybe a week, maybe if I can manage my money well enough. So absolutely, I'm definitely buying it, and I think you guys should too. And with that ends this Friday's questions for this week. Remember, please send your questions in, because I always go through my entire stock of questions, so I don't have any for next Friday. So if you're just new to this, just post any random question down below in the comments just to help me out next week, and I'll be more than happy to give you a thanks. And now, this Friday's contest question. Now, since last Friday was on movies, this time we're going back to games, and I'm going to do a slight repeat of the last game's questions, which probably has the record for the longest time that anyone didn't win, which I believe was like 3 or 4 days. So again, down below there is a link to a video that will play a song from a video game, and this time it is going to be played in its standard. This is how it sounds in the game, and all I want you to do is tell me, bottom line, name of the game and the name of the song. That's what I want. I don't want to know who the artist is or the band. I want to know game and song name. It does have a name. And the only clue that I will give will be tomorrow if nobody wins the first day. But if you can win, if you think you can figure out what it is by clicking the link down below to the video, if you know the answer, type it in the comments down below. And if you're first, you'll get your choice of an Xbox points cards or a PlayStation Network card. And if you like this video, please like, comment down below, and subscribe to the top keep track of me and my future videos. And once again, please send your questions. They can be on any topic whatsoever. And like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.